What do I have here? It's always fun when new rigs come out. And this one looks to be a pretty amazing release. I mean, we've got a lot of nice vehicles in the RC crawling realm in the past couple of years, but it's always nice when a unique rig comes out. This is the new Enduro from Element RC, which is a subsidiary of Associated Electronics. And I'm John Holmes. Thank you for tuning in. So Associated Electronics just created a subsidiary company called Element RC, and they happen to be coming into the RC crawling world like gangbusters with this release. A lot of unique features on this, and not only is it unique features, also coming from a company that has a really good reputation in the market. Even on top of that, it seems like they did a really good job engineering it, although I'm going to withhold my comments on that until I drive it. But let's just take a look at some of the features that they list on the box. I will discuss those, and then I will do an unofficial, an unboxing, of course, because this box is actually really cool, and we'll get into that in a second. But let's talk about this rig. As you can see, it is a 4x4 truck. You know, it's got some meaty tires on it and pretty cool lines. It looks like they also have their fenders pretty tight into the tires, so it tucks pretty well. Just overall good looking truck. I have seen them in person. It's a good looking truck. Some people may not like the body. I don't really care. It's still a nice looking body. But they do have some unique features of the rig. Just what they have listed on the box. They have behind the axle steering, which puts your drag link behind the axle instead of in front of the axle. Gives you a little bit more clearance on the rocks. They also have integrated servo winch mount next to the front mount servo. The servo is a chassis mounted servo, so it has 3-link suspension on front, which is pretty standard in the market at this point. Everybody that's doing scale rigs is doing CMS, chassis mounted servo, which is cool. I don't really care one way or another. Axle mounted servo gives you better performance, chassis mounted servo gives you better looks. As long as it's done right, chassis mounted servo is pretty slick, honestly. And if it's anything as good as the SCX 10.2 or the TRX 4, then we can look forward to really great steering for a CMS. Also comes with aluminum body shocks that are threaded, so you can adjust your preload on there. If you change the weight of your vehicle, you can get the same performance for the most part if you just adjust your preload on there. So you put a bigger battery on there, you want more preload, you crank the shocks down. You put a lighter battery on there, you want less preload, and you crank the little cap back up. Pretty cool. They also come with a 5-slot Reedy power crawler motor. And this has generated a lot of interest here lately on, let's just say, the social medias. People are very in awe of how smooth the 5-slot motor is. Seems like a lot of people are just learning about 5-slot motors. I enjoy the enthusiasm. I also am in the same boat of loving 5-slot motors. I've been winding them for over 11 years now, and our Crawlmaster Pro line is over 8 years old at this point. And so 5-slot motors aren't anything new, but a lot of people are just learning about them. So hey, that's great. I love 5-slot motors. So if you don't know what they are, check them out. They're pretty smooth. Also comes with, it's a ready to run, so it has other electronics in there. Their Reedy Power electronic speed controller and their radio and servo, which Reedy Power servo, 173 ounce inches it says on the box. It's not very impressive. That is enough for an RTR, but as I've said in previous videos, 300 ounce inches is really about the minimum that I like to run with. We'll see how long this one lasts. I'm going to try to actually kill the servo before I replace it in this one. Probably. We'll see how long it lasts. And the last but not least, probably the biggest feature on here, and we'll just turn this box around so you can see what I'm talking about, is the transmission. If you're an old head like me in the RC world, then maybe you are familiar with the old 6-gear transmissions that Associated had on their RC10s. This was before the stealth transmission was made. And it is the exact same gear layout. It's essentially the old 6-gear transmission, but instead of having a differential built into the bottom, it has a locker built into the top. It's hard to describe the way that the drivetrain works, but The way that they have done this, since they have 6 gears, they can offer different ratios for the front and the back, which is super cool. So far, no ready-to-run trucks have come with overdrive out of the box. And overdrive gives your truck the ability to have the front tires spin faster than the rear. And this gives you what is called dig in the market. A lot of competition rigs have this. I typically like my competition rigs to have right about 30% overdrive. If I'm just trail riding though, I probably don't want quite so much. It burns out the battery faster, it burns out the motor faster, and it can be a little bit unpredictable if you don't know how to drive it. And this one comes with, let's see, I'll have to read. Stock is 5.7% overdrive. They also have a different gear set which can allow you almost 12% overdrive. So still not as much as I'd like for competition use, but for trail use, this is plenty. And this will give you a tighter turning radius, and it will give you the ability to kind of stick to the rocks. So I might just have to unbox the rig to really show you how that works, but essentially your front pulls harder than the rear. So when you're coming over an object, the front will pull down your suspension and really suck the rig into the rocks. So having an overdrive function on a rig is really something that I love. And every rig that I'm going to compete with or really seriously try to crawl with, they all have overdrive one way or another. Whether it's through overdrive gear sets or through an overdrive transfer case or transmission, I love the feature. So this is really cool coming out of the box from Element RC. I wouldn't say they did their homework necessarily, but they made probably what they would want to drive, which is the way that I love to design products, is to make something that I love to drive, and then usually everybody else loves it too, because I'm kind of a snob when it comes to this stuff. And my snobbery will probably come out soon. I think it's enough talk. Now it's time to get into this box. And let me say, I've had this for 24 hours. I'm a self-employed individual that plays with toys every day. This was the hardest thing that I have done in months, was not open this yet. So this is my first unboxing. And I almost died waiting to do this. And here we are with our Salute bottle opener, the only sharp object that I have around here today. Ooh, factory sealed. They got their factory sealed stickers. And I'm gonna unseal the other side because I hear that this box doubles as a scale garage, which is really cool. So not only is this probably a really cool rig, they also have really cool packaging. There we are. Yeah, it is a scale garage. Hey, look at there, we got scale outlets on the wall. Oh, this is gonna show my nerd, my inner nerd. All right, we'll get back to the box here in a second. I probably should have cleaned out my desk a little better, huh? All right, so here's our instruction manual. It's all got a bunch of stickers on there. It also has some scale license plates. You can see them right here. It says 4 Bill 18. And this rig was actually really a product of love by the main engineer. And I don't recall his name right now, but he had a good friend pass away, and it was keeping him up at night for a long period of time. And just like me, when he couldn't sleep, he ended up engineering things and drawing things in CAD. And this rig was the fruits of that labor. Staying up late at night, not being able to sleep, and just drawing stuff. Just drawing a new rig because he felt like drawing a new rig. Down the road a little bit, he ended up switching jobs from what I understand and got employed by Element. This was what started the Element RC Enduro, which is kind of a cool backstory. Maybe he hasn't been involved in crawling for a super long time, but when something is made out of love, a lot of times it really just shows in a quality product. So I digress though. Let's get this guy out. All right, so we got to buy another bag of extras. All right, so here is option 1 or option 2. I don't know which. Maybe this is more overdrive with this gear. Maybe it's the one that's no overdrive. I don't know. Whichever, it's neat that they include that. There's our radio. Yeah, feels good. Feels good in the hand. And we got our bind plug and another instruction booklet. There we go. So, even though this is a new rig, I'm betting a lot of you guys either have it on order or have already received it by the time this video is released. Where'd you get it from? How long you had it? Do you like it? I'm sure you probably do. I mean, all right. Gonna have to pull out the scissors that I didn't see on the table. Yeah. All right, so the first thing that I am interested in, this guy's been sitting in the package for who knows how long, maybe a month, coming over by slow boat. Are the shocks sticky? Axial shocks get sticky. Traxxas shocks, really not so much, but a lot of axial shocks are sticky out of the box. No stiction. No stiction. Just smooth travel right out of the box. I don't have to, like, you know, get the suspension moving first. That is probably the one gripe that I have with my axial rigs is you let them sit for like an hour, and I don't know why, but the shocks get really sticky and you have to get them moving first. You have to get that first like bump of travel before it'll be nice and smooth. And these, oh man, just right out of the box. Sorry if this is coming off creepy to you guys, but yeah, this already feels super nice. All right, the other issue is axle swing during articulation. I'm not seeing any appreciable axle swing to this rig. Yeah, a little bit. There's a little bit, but not bad by any means. That's totally acceptable. And then the other thing with suspension is bump steer. So we just do one of these numbers and we see how much the tires are turning as we're articulating. Not much, if any, really. Yeah, we get it up like this and only cycle the front. There's zero bump steer that I can tell that way. And man, some plush suspension though. I'm digging it. Yeah, it looks to me that there's zero bump steer. Man, all right. Let me look straight on. There's a little bit of axle travel, but it's a 3-link. If there is any bump steer, I can't see it, to tell you the truth. So, it rolls. That's a good start. Let's take off the body. Let's see what's inside of the Sendero. It says Sendero on the box. It says Enduro. It's the Enduro Sendero trail truck. I don't even know what Sendero means. So, does this come off in one piece? No. It looks like the cab and the bed are two separate pieces, and they are, but they're bolted together or something. So if I wanted to do like a tube bed on the back or something like that, I could. So I kind of like the body, to tell you the truth. Oh, and it's got LEDs on the front already. That is sweet. Thank you, Element, for actually being hobbyists. And let's see if you can get a shot on the inside there. We've got these clips that hold our mirrors on. So instead of having a screw that would probably just rip out of the body, I've ripped a lot of these mirrors off. Yeah, so the mirrors not only fold, but they're not so hard mounted that if you get a side hit, they probably also rotate. Maybe not. Don't matter really. But that's kind of cool that they just have them clipped on the inside. So if I wanted to take the mirrors off and not smash them up, it's just a pull a body clip and be done with it. Also have windshield wipers. Well, the windshield wipers don't actually stay on the windshield for the entire travel. 0 out of 10. I'm throwing this thing away. Not really. Not really. Bumpers, they're pretty flexible plastic, as bumpers honestly should be. The last thing you want to do is crack a bumper. It needs to absorb impact. And our approach and departure angle, which is, you know, you extend a line from here to your tires. That's pretty steep. That's better than a TRX4 if I'm not mistaken. The rear end isn't going to have nearly, yeah, that sucker sticks out a mile. The departure isn't that great. That's maybe like 45 degrees. They might even have that listed on the box, but whatever. Yeah, I mean, new bumpers, not a big deal, really. Oh, and it's even got, there's so many little details to this guy. It even has a fair lead for your winch, so you can put a winch on the inside and then pull it out right there. That's cool. Obviously, these guys play with these toys. Tire compound, nice and soft. This, yeah, this is one of the best feeling ready to run tires I've felt so far. Cool. And let's see. Man, we're just going through. Oh, it comes with metal links. You may have heard me complaining about this on some previous videos, that sort of expensive rigs not coming with metal links. This one has a great price point, and it came with steel links. And it also has aluminum slider. Is that aluminum? Looks like aluminum. Yeah, aluminum sliders on the plastic shaft. So you got the inner aluminum part and the plastic outers. I don't like fully metal drive shafts here because it's a really good point to have as like an easy break point, a fail point. The last thing that I want to do is have to take apart my transmission to rebuild it if I break a gear. And if you keep a weak link somewhere that's easy to get to, like a spur gear, for instance, or the drive shaft right here, then it's really easy swap. It's really quick to get to, good on the trail. Also small parts to keep handy. So I like that the outers are plastic and the inner is metal, actually. That's going to make it less likely to twist. But when we get into a really big bind, it's going to pop probably, you know, like right there or there. So dude, I'm really digging this. So here's also our behind the axle steering that we can see. You got the link going from side to side, kind of travels in between all the rest of the nonsense going on in here. Yeah. I mean, overall, this rig is looking out of the box to be very well done. Now, since Element RC is owned by the same company as Axial, I have heard that there are compatibilities between them. And I don't know if that's the gears and the diff. Let's see, these gears are on center. So these are not helical, or I'm sorry, these are not hypoid gears like the SCX-10-2 comes with. So they may have their own center gear here, but it wouldn't surprise me if their outer shafts were compatible. The knuckles were compatible. The knuckles do look to be compatible. And hey, the bolt pattern on the transmission also looks to be the same as a axial bolt pattern. And is it flat? Is it flat? Oh, I can't tell. That may have to be a future video. It looks like the transmission mounts flat and the bolt pattern looks to be the same as an axial. So more than likely this transmission would drop into an SCX-10-2 and vice versa. You could drop an SCX-10 transmission into this AX-10, a lot of times you'll see it called, which is really cool because there are a ton of aftermarket manufacturers for that AX-10 tranny. And even beyond that, we can mirror our transmission just by unbolting it and bolting it back in, which I would just flip the entire skid personally, but whatever. We have options now. And I also hear that the transmission can be built mirrored, possibly. I don't really know how that would work looking at it, and it doesn't look like that's actually the case. That's just, you know, rumors of the grapevine. So, man, overall this truck looks to be extremely well thought out. I'm digging that they have SLW Vanquish compatible hubs on here. These wheels are plastic, but if they come, it looks like the hub is also plastic, the hub that's behind there. So if you have any problems with them, you can get some aluminum hubs, some SLW hubs from Vanquish products, and be off to the races. We also have these little scale caps here. Let's see if I can pull it off. It's not wanting to come off. It may unthread, and my hands are too sweaty for that. good old Missouri humidity. So we'll just wait till a later date on that. And just one more and, I swear. It comes with a small battery tray on here and a full size as well. So if you want to run a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, you can. But I will be running, let's see, I'm not going to be running something quite so big as this. If you're the type of guy that likes to run for like 4 hours at a time, yeah, sure, they give you the option to run that. But I like to run teeny tiny batteries. It looks like I have thrown them all too far of reach, but usually like a 3,000 milliamp hour style pack from Helios RC is what I am currently running. And that will fit in here, so that's cool. 5-slot motor, it's just a sealed can, so really no great motor on there. We'll just have to get that one out on the rocks. Speaking of going out on the rocks, it says for 14 plus years only. So the first thing that I'm going to do is give this to my 6-year-old and see if he can break it. He has really good throttle control actually, so he usually doesn't break my rigs. But if anybody is going to break them, besides some of my local team drivers that just love to break parts, it's going to be my 6-year-old son that just hammers down and doesn't have a care in the world about the money and the time that it takes to fix things. So that's going to be, once I get it out on the rocks, that's going to be what we do. And let's see how our time is doing. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to get enough time to crawl with it on this video. So this is a true unboxing that I have actually spent all of my time gawking at this new rig. So the things that I'm excited for about this, I'll just recap. Tell me what you're excited for down in the comments though, for sure. I am excited for these super plus shocks. Oh, even though I'm an electronics guy, I can't tell you how sweet it is to get it ready to run that just comes out of the box with such butter smooth shocks. I'm excited to see how smooth their 5-slot motor is. I love 5-slot motors, pretty much all of my rigs. If it's running a brushed motor, it's going to be a Crawlmaster or a Crawlmaster Magnum in it. I love 5-slot motors, as long as they're properly designed. You can make a 5-slot perform worse than a 3-slot if you really don't try, or if you really try. Like, you can't just throw a 5-slot in there and expect it to work right. There has to be some engineering involved with it. And more than likely, I mean, I can push this rig and tell you that, yeah, this is going to be a smooth starting motor. But yeah, I mean, just everything about this rig is screaming that it's nice. Just, oh, good roll center, good CMS on there, just, yeah. If I recap everything, I'm just going to say all the exact same things that I just said, so maybe we'll just call it at that. Super excited to go try this thing out. Maybe you can see my excitement from behind the camera, but man, oh man, this... I love my toys, and this is going to be a really fun toy to have some fun with. So next time we'll be testing her out. I'm going to see if my 6-year-old can break it after I get my run on it first, though. I mean, he is my son and all, but me first. Me first with this rig. All right, if y'all do have any questions, comment down below. If you like what I'm doing, subscribe, hit the little bell thing, or whatever it's called these days. And I hope you have a good day, because I am going to. Thanks for tuning in.